I text a lot. She hasn't been back this year for a game. Hopefully we'll get her back for one at some point. But she's got new adventures and new mountains to climb. But she attacks big games, win, lose, draw. That kid is she's with me, and I think she knows that.
Now comes the reality check, because praise and potential still have to translate into production. Chit Chat is currently averaging 11 points and 4 assists per game while shooting an impressive 50% from both the field and three-point range. Those numbers are solid, especially for a freshman. They show efficiency, poise, and a strong foundation. But Jensen and Clark both understand that Iowa needs more from the point guard position. This roster requires someone who can consistently create offense off the dribble, break down defenses, and make plays when set actions fall apart. Right now, Chit Chat and Taylor Stremlo are the only true creators on the team. Addie Deal is still adjusting to the college game. Tega Molini isn't a natural ball handler. Hannah Stolka operates primarily as a post player. That puts added responsibility on Chit Chat's shoulders. Iowa needs her to be more assertive, to look for her shot more often, and to embrace an alpha mindset at the guard spot. Efficiency is great, but volume and control matter too. And with Iowa set to face the #1 team in the country, the Yukon Huskies, that need becomes urgent. Against elite competition, hesitation gets punished. Iowa will need Chit Chat to take command, initiate offense under pressure, and trust her instincts. This is the moment where talent has to evolve into leadership. The opportunity is massive, but so is the challenge. How she responds will say a lot about her growth in Iowa's ceiling this season.
But we had a funny text.
I remember the text when Taylor Stremlo got teed up and Caitlin Clark had put that text out and she was going off on the refs. And everybody's like, damn, Caitlin bombing on the refs and she not even playing. Like, yeah.
Change because, Caitlin is a little emotional too. So that's always fun. Caitlin's really fun loving. So those kind of things. But, when we have a big win or she really loves Chit Chat's play, right? She thinks she's really fun. So she's texting.
When you break down what Jan Jensen revealed, the situation becomes even more striking. During a game this season, Taylor Stremlo picked up a technical foul and Caitlin Clark immediately reacted. She didn't just notice it later on a highlight clip. She tweeted about it in real time and then followed that up by texting Jensen directly, venting her frustration about the referee's call. Pause and consider what that says. Clark is fully immersed in her WNBA career with the Indiana Fever. She's dealing with national media attention, constant analysis of her performances, and the mental and physical demands of preparing for playoff-level basketball. And yet, in the middle of all that, she's locked into Iowa games so closely that she's reacting live to officiating decisions. That level of attentiveness is rare. But the more important detail comes next. Jensen explained that Clark's messages aren't just casual updates or emotional reactions. Clark is specifically texting her about Chit Chat. She's analyzing her play, commenting on her decisions, and telling Jensen how much she enjoys watching the freshman point guard. This isn't nostalgia talking. This is one elite player recognizing another's potential. Clark sees elements of the game that casual viewers miss, and her interest in Chit Chat signals respect. It's not flattery, it's basketball insight. When a player of Clark's caliber singles out a freshman and says she's fun to watch, that carries weight. It's a clear case of game recognizing game. Clark isn't watching Iowa as a former star reliving old memories. She's watching as a basketball mind evaluating talent and responding instinctively to what she sees on the court. That makes her praise meaningful, especially coming from someone who knows exactly what it takes to run that program at the highest level.
She really loves Chit Chat's play, right? She thinks she's really fun. So she's texting me about her sometimes, but I think she likes our young kids, so it's just generals and then just a lot about life, how's she doing? How's it going? About my kids or whatever. So it's more of, not all the time, but just like it is with friends, who's in your corner and who isn't. And with her, I think that's really important too, the reciprocation, because she's got a lot of people that, are all for her and so forth, but you can't let everybody in that, she's got a really, really close circle, but then she's got some of us that she knows will be there,
Listen to how Chit Chat describes her first winter in Iowa, and you get a clearer picture of what she's navigating. She comes from a warmer climate, so the cold, snow, and long winter months are an adjustment in themselves. That might sound trivial, but comfort matters, especially for a freshman far from home. Now layer that on top of adapting to a program that just 2 years ago was competing for national championships with the most famous player in women's college basketball. Every practice, every game, every mistake happens under that shadow. That's a lot for anyone, let alone a first-year player. And on top of all that, Chit Chat is dealing with the first serious injury of her college career. Injuries disrupt rhythm, confidence, and momentum, especially when you're still learning your role. She's not just adjusting to a new system and higher competition. She's doing it while physically trying to get back to full strength. That combination makes her season even more impressive. It also explains why patience and support matter. Growth isn't linear, especially under these circumstances. The fact that she's producing solid numbers, earning praise from Caitlin Clark, and handling the mental side of this transition speaks volumes. This season isn't just about statistics for Chit Chat. It's about resilience, adaptation, and laying the foundation for what comes next. And if she continues to grow through these challenges, Iowa may be watching the rise of its next great floor leader.
Right on the season, Chit Chat's averaging 11 points, 4 assists, but she's shooting 50% from 3, 50% from the field. So I would like to see Chit Chat more aggressive and getting up more shots because we just don't have the creators off the dribble at the guard spot. But this is going to be a big test. Iowa obviously lost to Audie Crooks at Iowa State. Now they're going to be going against the best player in the country in Sarah Strong. Let's see what Chit Chat write.
This is where the story takes on a deeper, more personal layer. Jensen talks about reciprocation and about Clark's inner circle, and her words reveal a lot. She acknowledges that Caitlin Clark has plenty of people who support her, praise her, and want access to her life. But not everyone gets let in. Clark has learned, like many elite athletes, that trust has to be selective. Jensen positions herself as someone Clark knows will be there no matter what, through highs, lows, praise, criticism, and transitions. That's not a throwaway comment. It describes a genuine relationship that survived the leap from college basketball to the professional level. Those relationships are rare. Now consider what that dynamic means for Chit Chat. She's a freshman point guard stepping into a program still living in the shadow of the greatest player in its history. The expectations are enormous, whether spoken or unspoken. Filling that role is daunting for any young player. But instead of being ignored or judged from a distance, Chit Chat has the program's legend actively watching her games, analyzing her play, and praising her directly to the head coach. That's not pressure, it's reassurance. It's validation. It's Caitlin Clark quietly signaling that she sees something special there. That kind of endorsement doesn't guarantee success, but it can do wonders for confidence. It tells Chit Chat she's not just surviving in that role, she belongs in it. When the most iconic figure the program has ever produced acknowledges you, it reframes the challenge. Suddenly, you're not just replacing someone. You're continuing a legacy with support rather than comparison. That matters more than most people realize.
Chit Chat, how's your first Iowa winter working for you?
Pretty good. It's not bad. I mean, I'm starting to get used to the coldness and just the snow coming down. It's just really great to look at it and drink hot chocolate and stuff like that.
2 years removed from Iowa basketball, Caitlin Clark still tells you everything you need to know with her actions. She may no longer wear the Hawkeyes jersey, but she has never emotionally left the program. Head coach Jan Jensen revealed that Clark still texts her regularly, and that detail alone speaks volumes. This isn't a former star casually checking in out of nostalgia. This is a player who remains deeply invested in Iowa's present and future. Clark is not watching from a distance. She is locked in following games, noticing details, and reacting in real time. That level of engagement doesn't happen unless the connection is real. What makes this even more remarkable is what Clark chooses to talk about. During a game this season, when Taylor Stremlow picked up a technical foul, Clark immediately reacted on social media and then followed it up with a text directly to Jensen, frustrated with the officiating. Think about that for a moment. Clark is in the middle of her WNBA career with the Indiana Fever. She's dealing with national media scrutiny, constant discussion about her performance, and the pressure that comes with being one of the most visible players in professional basketball. And yet, she's so tuned into Iowa basketball that she's live reacting to referee calls and texting her former coach in real time. That's not casual fandom. That's emotional investment. But the most revealing part of Jensen's story isn't about referees or tweets. It's about who Clark is watching most closely. Jensen said Clark isn't just asking general questions about the team. She's specifically texting her about Chit Chat. She's breaking down her play, commenting on her decision-making, and telling Jensen how much she enjoys watching the freshman point guard. That matters. When an elite player like Caitlin Clark singles out a freshman, it's not random. It's recognition. It's one basketball mind acknowledging another. This isn't hype or politeness. It's game, recognizing game. Jensen also spoke about reciprocation and trust, and that's where the relationship becomes even more meaningful. She acknowledged that Clark has plenty of people around her who are supportive, complimentary, and eager to be close to her success. But Clark can't let everyone in. Elite athletes learn quickly that their inner circle has to be small and stable. Jensen positioned herself as one of those people, someone Clark knows will be there through the highs and the lows, through praise and criticism, through college stardom and professional pressure. That kind of relationship doesn't survive by accident. It survives because it's genuine. Now consider what that dynamic means for Chit Chat. She's a freshman point guard stepping into one of the most difficult situations in college basketball, following the greatest player in program history. The shadow Caitlin Clark left behind isn't subtle. It's massive. Expectations are everywhere, even when no one says them out loud. Every possession is compared, every mistake magnified. And yet, instead of distancing herself, the program's legend is actively watching her, studying her game, and praising her directly to the head coach. That's not pressure. That's validation. That's Caitlin Clark quietly signaling that she sees something real in Chit Chat. For a young player, that kind of endorsement can change everything. It doesn't guarantee success, but it builds belief. It tells her she belongs. Statistically, Chit Chat's season has been solid. She's averaging 11 points and 4 assists while shooting 50% from the field and 50% from three. Those are efficient numbers, especially for a freshman adjusting to the college game. They show poise and discipline. But both Jensen and Clark understand that Iowa needs more from that position. Efficiency alone isn't enough. This team needs a point guard who can create offense when things break down. Someone who can attack off the dribble, collapse defenses, and make something happen when the set play doesn't work. Right now, Chit Chat and Taylor Stremlow are the only true creators on the roster. Addie Deal is still learning. Tega Molini isn't a natural ball handler. Hannah Stolka operates primarily in the post. That reality places extra responsibility on Chit Chat. Iowa needs her to be more aggressive. They need her to take more shots, to trust her instincts, and to embrace an alpha mentality at the guard spot. That doesn't mean forcing bad looks. It means understanding when the moment calls for leadership. And with Iowa set to face the #1 team in the country, the Yukon Huskies, that need becomes urgent. Against elite teams, hesitation is punished. You don't get extra chances. Iowa will need Chit Chat to be decisive, confident, and willing to carry the offense when necessary. These are the games that define growth.